What's up, guys? My name's Kyle. A lot of you know me as Dips. I've been gloving for about 3 years now, conjuring for the majority of it. From the Columbus, Ohio area. About 2-3 years back, I did a conjuring tutorial when I was first beginning, and so now I'm coming back with a little bit more wisdom to hopefully impart some of that onto all of y'all. I'm going to be focusing on single mode conjuring. On the other hand, there's multi-mode conjuring where you use all of your color sets. I'm going to be doing single, which is just a single mode. The glove set I'm going to be using are the Elements. I know this also works for the Spectras as well, exactly what I'm going to show you. Futuristic lights, atoms also have conjure mode, and so do LED gloves. For single mode conjuring, I mainly recommend Amazing chips or LED gloves chips. I can't really recommend Futuristic lights chips or single mode. I feel like they fall out of conjure mode too easily, but I'm allowed to be wrong. That's just my opinion. So on the Amazing chips, how do you get in conjure mode? In the off position, you're going to hold down until you get to green. Okay. When you're on this bright green, you hold down again and let go, and then it's going to get to this blinky green. You click and it'll go to your next color. You go ahead and choose your color set that you want. I'm going to go ahead and choose this one. So you hold down, it's going to go back to the screen. If I click again, so to choose another color, and I choose another color, what's going to end up happening is it's going to reorder my color sets. It's not going to actually be single mode conjuring. However, if while I'm in the screen I hold down and let go, it's then going to go into single mode conjuring. So you repeat that for all of your chips. Just some recommendations from my perspective. I focus largely on thumb conjuring, so I generally want my thumbs to be different colors than my fingers. However, you want the color set to still tie in together. I find that thumbs, you'll want to have either the same strobe or a strobier strobe than your fingers. I find that if you have a thumb that is a more solid strobe, it detracts a little bit and it can kind of make things look a little bit sloppy. Placement of lights is super important. My thumbs, I have the bulb sticking out fairly far away from my finger. However, for all of my chips, the button is against my finger. Well, let me start. All the lights are on the bottom, thumbs and fingers. I've worn them like that the entire time. You lose the ability to feel your fingers, but you can do everything else that anybody else can do. It's just a little bit more difficult at times. Anyway, so lights on the bottom, the button pressing against the bottom of your finger, not with the button facing out. The button pressing against your finger allows you to more easily click. So there's that. I also feel that hard casings are a little bit easier for me to control. I think that soft casings sometimes can be too easy to click, and I don't really like them too much. I talked about strobe of the thumb, and for the rest of my fingers, pretty much flush. All the bulbs are sticking out a little bit from my fingertip, and that's so that I can get a good grip on my pinky, or on my lights. I will say that my pinkies is slightly off, but not too much. So let's see here. Alright, so yeah, so just clicking positions. We're going to start with thumb. The thumb main spots for clicking is going to be the top of the finger, or of the hand. So just clicking just like that, right? The other spot is going to be your palm. So just clicking just like that. I know some people can't do this apparently. You can, if you can't, just push your light out a little bit more, so it's a little bit more off of your thumb, and that might help, or push it in and that might help. I have a pretty meaty palm here, so that helps me a lot. That's the two main spots for your thumbs, other than in joint clicking. So say for instance you're doing a pinch click where you're turning on your two fingers, or a finger and your thumb at the same time, and you can do that for the majority of them, right? That's the main spots where you're going to turn your thumbs on. I mean, unless you're using like a body part, potentially. That's the main ones. For your fingers, simple, very simple, using your thumb to turn it on and off. It's a very basic one. Same thing with the pinch, right? The other spots for your fingers are going to be when you are in a fist, generally. So what I consider a fist, a closed fist, is just like this, being able to turn all your lights on and off at the same time. If you can't get this initially, don't be sad or mad or upset, whatever. Just keep practicing it. I know when I was initially starting, I had difficulty doing this. I don't know why, but it got super easy just one day, and then there you go. But you're gonna find that in Conjuring, you will want to do a lot more flowy moves, and the reason for that is that Conjuring generally is much easier in flow than it is doing tech. And the reason I say that is, say we take this position for instance, there's only so many lights I can turn on from this position, and it's because these two fingers are facing out. However, if I'm in a finger roll, for instance, I can turn on all of my lights on and off pretty much however I want, right? And that's because I'm going back into that fist position. Same thing for whips. Whips, you end up in this position, so on, off, right? And same thing, because my thumb is seated at the top of my hand and all these lights are on, you can do both at the same time. And I do that a lot, and then go into cages and whatnot. Front finger, another spot to turn on all of your lights at the same time. If you're in prayer position, you can move forward, and I do this move, to where you're essentially, your fingers are against your palm, you move, and then you click all at once, and there you have it. Same thing other side, and I missed one, no I didn't, cool. Sometimes my pinkies slide off, and that's like the hardest part to keep staying on and do the clicks. So I talked about all the times or all the spots really to turn the lights on and off. You can really practice with everything, try to figure out some new ones, but those are going to be the main spots to turn your lights on and off, except for like body parts, right? So, let's see. So timing is the biggest thing in Conjuring. You're going to want to make sure that you really practice the ability to turn your lights on and off, right? Make sure, and it's easier with that click when you're not messing with like an iNova timer, for instance, or you're not messing with multi-mode Conjuring, where you have to actually like hold down the button. When you're just clicking, it's fairly simple, right? The main thing is having showmanship to back it up, because anybody can sit here and do this, right? But it's when you start incorporating like the loss of light completely, like see, no lights are on, hand movement. Okay, I stole this from Bruce, shout out to Bruce. That's another position. But yeah, it's a showmanship aspect of it. It's looking at the light while you're passing it. Okay, it's misdirection, looking away from where the light you expected the light to be, tossing it, looking up, waiting for it. It's like those kinds of little stupid things that make a show, make it fun, right? Let's see here. Big part of Conjuring, don't stop when you mess up. So I see a lot of people, they'll be conjuring and then they'll go to do a move and then they'll like miss a light, right? And I could stop and I could be like, oh, I'm sorry. Or instead, I could clearly show that I missed a light, take another one, turn them on. Take this one off, right? So that kind of stuff. You don't want to stop your show while you're conjuring in order to correct what you did wrong. In the same regard, you might be like, you know, a decent way into throwing some whips and you realize you have 2 fingers on. But the thing you got to realize is that oftentimes the person who you're giving a show to is not going to even realize or notice that you fucked up. They might, but they also don't care, and they'll be more impressed if you, while you're throwing whips, you're like, oh shit, I kind of missed those 2 lights, and then you turn them on before they even know it. Or, yeah, right? So super important, don't stop your show when you're conjuring to turn your lights on if you mess up. Just figure it out and do it. I talked about the fact that conjuring is flowy style. And yeah, it's really important. Shows in the dark are way better than shows that aren't in the dark. The unfortunate reality is when you're in a dark room like this on recording, it's more difficult to get a good recording. You also can't see my body movements. But I assure you that if you're in person with somebody, a pitch black room is the coolest way to get a light show. But yeah, I'll turn the light back on real quick just to be able to show some stuff. This video is getting kind of long. That's the majority of my tips and tricks for starting out. Going from here on, I'll be essentially talking and discussing about a few different moves that I do, so that you can have kind of a beginner skill set and then be able to build off of some of those. The majority of my moves I've honestly taken from other people whenever I see them, whether it's other conjurers or if it's other if it's impactors. I get a lot of my inspiration from impactors. And then the big thing is trying to take your moves and your skill set, building off of them, and trying to create some new stuff. So yeah, so I showed you this one from Ruse. Turn the lights on or off, and then right. And just because I know mirroring's weird, this hand is my left hand, and this one is my right. Right. Another easy one, real basic. Well, I do a lot of thumb play. You can come up here. Conjure with the fingers. Right. Just passing the light back and forth with a little finger roll action. Kind of looks kind of cool. Cages are really big, so when you have your light, I usually give it some momentum just by tapping it and really trying to roll your fingers through those different holes that you create. And I used to think whenever you would pass the cage that you would actually like click the light, which you can do, right? But the other thing you can do is just keep the light on and just wave your fingers over the light and then move it down so that it has the impression of falling. So, right. And you'd be able to see a little bit more if it was a little bit darker, but I want you to be able to see me. That's a big one. Sideways. Now I am actually clicking the light. I feel like it gives a little bit more impression, but you can do either one, and then moving it side to side. Bringing my finger over, back through, finger over, back through. Okay. Ruse does this one a lot. Just passing the light like that. I do this one. Eat. Arm. To this spot. Okay. I got this from Nate Calavan. This is an impactor move that I learned. Let's see here. So, start from this position. This is my right hand. Go through. Flip, so that you're just in an up finger roll position now. Palm facing up. Switch. Switch. And yeah, I mean, it's some real basic stuff for you guys. I think through everything you probably saw a lot of it. That will give you a good foundation. I just know a lot of people have been asking for Conjuring stuff going forward. So here we go, a little updated video. Also, I'll be probably doing a multi-mode Conjuring video eventually. I don't know when, but we shall see. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Other than that, peace out.